Thank you all for joining us here at I-80 Sports, where today we are talking bold predictions in the NHL, as well as other news, notes around the NHL. Thank you all for joining us here again at I-80 Sports. Thank you all for joining us here again at I-80 Sports for our regularly scheduled programming here in the NHL regular season. But if you're joining us here on YouTube, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe for all of our regularly scheduled content, because we're going to be hitting you every week with a brand new video talking about the news and notes around the NHL, as well as both mine and Tom's favorite team bi-weekly, talking about the Devils and talking about the Rangers this year. Maybe we can all be sad together, but you can check out our content down below at i80sports.com. Check out all of our NHL content, as well as our NFL, NCAA football, MLS, and NBA coverage there as well. Make sure you drop some love to those guys as well, and hit up our shop. Get yourself a t-shirt as low as $8. And if you're on Twitter, make sure you follow us down below at i80_sportsNHL. And if you're following us already, thank you guys so much, because we greatly value all of your support. Without you guys, we can't do this on a weekly basis. I'm Brian. He's Tom. How you doing today, Tom?
Doing well, and here we are. Basically Christmas Day here for us. Here we are, opening night of NHL hockey.
It feels
back
like
on ESPN. Some people like it. I don't like it, but
yeah, that's
their own, man. Different strokes for different folks, I guess.
To each their own, different strokes for different folks. But I definitely feel like I should be wearing like a Christmas hat today, because this really does feel like Christmas Day. I feel as giddy as a 9-year-old waking up on Christmas morning, waiting to open up that gift that they've been waiting all year for. It is finally the start of the regular season as of tonight. It is so exciting. It is so great. And for those of you that joined us for our NHL team previews from this past summer and fall, thank you guys so much for checking it out. We've been getting so much love on those videos, but if you want to go check those out again, they're on a playlist on YouTube, on our YouTube page. You can check it out there, binge watch before the start of the NHL season. But before we get into our bold predictions, which is what this episode is about, we've got to talk a little bit about some news and notes around the NHL. So we're going to hit you guys with some quick hits here, some, kind of things to kind of keep in mind as the beginning of the NHL season begins. So first and foremost, Brady Tkachuk and the Ottawa Senators. Let's address this first, because Brady Tkachuk currently right now is nowhere near a new deal with the Ottawa Senators. He is not currently playing as an Ottawa Senator. So this is kind of left to be said, and I'll just make it a blanket statement for Tom here, and I'll react as well. Tom, let's start with you. Is it time to panic in Ottawa about Brady Tkachuk? Could a deal be imminent? Will a deal be done for him in Ottawa? What do you think?
Well, per Bruce Garriott earlier, they're nowhere near a deal right now. The question of it being time to panic, it's hard to put a pulse on that for me. Yes, you want him in the lineup. Yes, you're a rebuilding team. Yes, he's a future cornerstone. But if you have him out of the lineup, and it's a big loss not having him there, and you look at what the draft is this year, and you know you're probably not going to make playoffs, and you know you're playing in a division where your 4 playoff teams are probably set, and you're looking at what could come next in the draft, maybe it's not as bad as everybody thinks.
It's kind of true. I mean, you go and look at this situation on both sides of the coin. Okay, you get Brady Tkachuk back and you shell out some money. Yeah, he's a guy that you want to build your team around. He's a guy that you're kind of dead set about building your team around. But at the same time, you're looking at everything going on and you're nowhere close to a deal. You find a trade. Maybe you don't necessarily get exactly what you want back in return. Maybe you're lowballed a little bit just simply because he's a guy without a contract right now. But you look at a team that's rebuilding like this, and is it the worst thing in the world to potentially end up with another top 3 pick in such a deep draft? Maybe, maybe not. But at the same time, it does leave Ottawa worse for wear for sure, because Brady Tkachuk is certainly a player that could register maybe 50 to 60, maybe even push 70 points this year. And that type of production would be sorely missed on an Ottawa team that is certainly still developing. Probably the next closest player that can put up a point total like that currently on Ottawa is more than likely Josh Norris is a person that comes to mind for me as a person that can put up point totals like Brady Tkachuk on that team. Another outside possibility would be Tim Stützle, and maybe not. It all depends on where his development currently is. He still is only 19 years old. So to expect that type of production out of somebody that young is almost unfair at that point. So hopefully for Ottawa, a deal gets done for Brady Tkachuk in some way, shape, or form. Hopefully you extend him to, a multi-year deal, even if it's just a bridge deal, and just give him the money that he wants and let bygones be bygones, water under the bridge, let him play, get things underway. But I don't know if it's time to panic yet for Ottawa. This is certainly a story that we are going to track, though, going forward. Next up, we're going to be talking about some players that made their respective teams this year and are coming into their rookie season. And I don't know. I'm just a little bit surprised by a couple of these names that actually made the team. So first of all, let's talk about my New Jersey Devils. Dawson Mercer officially made the 23-man roster for the Devils this year. He's most likely slating in as your third or fourth center on that team. And really no surprise there. It's just so exciting to see that Dawson Mercer is developing as a New Jersey Devil. Next, this one was a little bit of a surprise to me, but maybe those who have been watching him, especially maybe even Bex, our good friend who also joined us for our, our Detroit team preview. Maybe not a surprise for her, but Lucas Raymond officially makes the Red Wings this year. And I thought it was a little bit too soon for Lucas Raymond. I'm actually really excited to see what he can do this year as a member of the Red Wings. He was drafted number 4 overall just last year and could be a very exciting player to watch. Another one that surprised me was another number 3 overall pick from this past year, Mason McTavish, making the Anaheim Ducks. That's kind of comes out of left field for me. I did not think that he was going to make the Anaheim Ducks this year. It was certainly a surprise to me to see him make the Anaheim Ducks this past year. And then lastly, really interesting to me for the New York Rangers was not a matter of who made the team, but who did not make the team. And when Tom certainly comes back, we'll talk to him about it. But speaking of which, Tom, you're back just in time for me to address this one because I'm talking about who did not make the New York Rangers, and that was Vitaly Kravtsov and Morgan Barron not making the Rangers. And a bit of a surprise, but really kind of big in this speculation. Vitaly Kravtsov may be exploring the possibility of a trade. Are you disappointed by this, Tom? Talk to us.
I'm disappointed all around. Not so much with Morgan Barron. I kind of knew he wouldn't make it, but I do think he will be up and needs to be up there. That's why I wasn't very happy with the Ryan Reeves signing because it pretty much took Morgan Barron's spot away. I can understand with Julien Gauthier, maybe what they want to do is add more size and experience to the bottom 6. I don't understand what Dryden Hunt is doing there. And I mean, even though Kravtsov got hurt in preseason, he looked pretty good the other night against the Islanders. The games he played, he looked pretty good. I don't understand. Is it an attitude thing? I don't understand what they're so against with having him there. I don't understand why they're so anti-Kravtsov. I don't know if a trade's going to happen per se. I don't know if they're going to find the deal that they want. And I do wonder if this whole thing will blow over. And there were rumors that his agent said that they're not ready to announce they want to trade yet. So the agent might be just talking him off and telling him, listen, just go to Hartford, see how it works for a month. Not even a month, couple of weeks, and see how it works from there. But yeah, like I am very surprised the Kravtsov thing. I felt he should be there, but maybe they see something I don't. Because I thought he should slot in there on the third line. I thought maybe he should even slot in on the first or second line and have Kreider playing the third line. But maybe they saw something that I didn't. I don't know.
Yeah. Honestly, I think it's surprising to me because I had penciled in Vitaly Kravtsov as a member of the New York Rangers this year. I had him slotting in on that third and fourth line, respectively. I think you could kind of interchange it night to night, especially with his size and ability to bang bodies and just shove people out of the way. I really thought he was going to be a person that was going to make a difference on this Rangers team, at least in the early going, and it doesn't seem to be that case. We'll have to monitor and see what happens. If a trade actually does happen, if he has requested a trade, well, we're just going to have to see. Perhaps Tom will be in SOS mode next week. We'll have to see what happens. Other surprises, Cole Sillinger also making the Blue Jackets was a little bit of a surprise to me. But then again, if you watch him this past offseason in preseason, it's no surprise whatsoever. Cole Sillinger certainly won that job for the Columbus Blue Jackets. So congrats to him. Congrats to everybody that made their respective teams this year. It's going to be interesting to watch some rookies this year. All right, before we move on to our bold predictions, as we would, time for some just quick hits real quick on some other quick news and notes. So Evander Kane was left off the San Jose Sharks roster. Could he be cut soon? I think it's a good possibility, especially with everything going on with him. Cap Friendly, thank God for Cap Friendly, was alerted to the fact that Evander Kane's contract is not currently going against San Jose's cap. So they have regained $7 million in cap. They now have $8 million of cap space available to them right now, which is huge for the San Jose Sharks, especially if they actually want to try to do something with that cap space. Maybe get something as a supporting role, something as a supporting piece, and just do away with Evander Kane altogether. Next, Nicholas Backstrom was placed on LTIR with a hip injury. He did not play any of the preseason, did not play in any of training camp. With that being said, the Washington Capitals in turn have recalled rookie Connor McMichael, who I was surprised did not make the Washington lineup initially, but this could be his audition to maybe stay in the lineup for this year. It's going to be exciting to watch for Connor McMichael. This is quite the opportunity if he gets the chance to stay in the roster. Next, the Columbus Blue Jackets have named Boone Jenner the 7th captain of their franchise's history. Congratulations to him. He is certainly a player that has been an integral part of this Columbus Blue Jackets team for a while now, and much deserved to him. Also, Mark Giordano being named the first captain in Seattle Kraken history, and simply because of his track record with Calgary. He has been a captain before, and he is an experienced leader in that locker room, and it seems like he is all in on being a Seattle Kraken. It certainly seems like a match made in heaven there. So congratulations to both individuals for becoming captains of their respective teams. And then lastly, Nick Suzuki of the Montreal Canadiens and Mika Zibanejad of the New York Rangers were officially extended. Their contracts are going to start next year. Tom, I'll just ask you real quick, who do you feel got the better deal? Who do you like? Whose deal do you like better for which team?
Well, I like the Zibanejad deal for the Rangers, 8.5 for basically at or near a point per game center, and the first line center, somebody who could have gotten 60 goals 2 years ago, somebody who could hit the 100-point plateau eventually. He might not get 60 this year. He might get 40, but for a guy who could be a 40-goal scorer for the next few years at 8.5, that's fine by me. The hope is that the cap does increase over the years, so, you fit the 8.5 under, and it doesn't seem like a huge albatross on your cap.
Yeah, honestly, I love the Mika Zibanejad deal. I honestly think Zibanejad is one of the better centers, a top 10 center in the entire league. And for only $8.5 million a year, that's a bargain for him, to be quite honest. He could be making a lot more than that. He could be making, honestly, Braden Point style money right now, which is about $1 million or more than what he is currently making. So good on that. Nick Suzuki is also on a friendly deal at $7.5 million a year as well. That could age very, very well over the course of those 7 years that he was extended. So bravo to Montreal for extending him for a friendly price there. Now it is time to get into our bold predictions, which first, our bold predictions are going to start with our trophy tracker. So we're going to be talking about each trophy that players could win. And obviously, we're not going to talk about every award. We're not going to predict, what coach is going to win the Jack Adams, because that's tough to predict which coach has been the most effective during training camp. There's just no way of really telling yet until you really get deeper into the season. Maybe we'll revisit that question as time goes on. And we're also leaving out categories such as the Jennings Trophy and the Lindsay Trophy. The Lindsay Trophy just simply because that's an opinion based on the NHL players, and the Jennings because that's purely based on goaltending stats. That is kind of redundant when we talk about the Vezina Trophy as well. So starting off, we're going to talk about the Calder Memorial Trophy. It is an annual award given to the player selected as the most proficient in his first year of competition in the NHL, selected in a PWHA poll, or to be put quite simply, it's the Rookie of the Year award. So, Tom, let's start with you. Who do you think is the Calder Trophy winner for this year?
I'm coming way out of left field here. I'm going to go with Cole Sillinger in Columbus, believe it or not. Was high on Sillinger at the draft. Sillinger has all the makings of a number one center eventually. And I think Sillinger's going to have himself a hell of a year down there on a team that really has nothing to lose.
Yeah, I think that's not too crazy of a choice, especially because you can consider Cole Sillinger a big fish in a small pond. You know, he has some interesting players lining up with him as well. You know, players like Gustav Nyquist playing on his wing every so often per night. You know, he's a kid that could get some really good minutes this year on an otherwise depleted Columbus Blue Jackets team. I was really happy with my choice last year, which was Kirill Kaprizov. Rather. And I'm going to keep that train running with the person who I think is going to win the Calder Trophy this year. I'm going with a relatively easy one. I'm going with relatively safer picks this year. I have a couple bold picks, but I needed to go safe here. Let's go with Florida goaltender Spencer Knight. A lot of people would be quick to say Cole Caulfield from Montreal. And while I think he's going to have a really strong year, I think Spencer Knight's rookie season will be better simply because of the team that is currently in front of him. Spencer Knight could very well have an impressive year, and if his 4 regular season games from last year were any indication, it could be a lot of fun to watch. That and Cole Caulfield is going to have to do a lot on his own this upcoming year on a Montreal team that is a little worse for wear than last year. Next, we're talking about the Lady Byng Memorial Trophy. It's given to the player adjudged to have exhibited the best type of sportsmanship and gentlemanly conduct, combined with a high standard of playing ability. I don't know why I decided to go British there. It just seemed like, just based on the language, it just sounds so noble and so higher up. But the Lady Byng Memorial Trophy, it's the sportsmanship award, but at the same time, it's given to a player of high caliber, but who also plays the game in a very clean style. Tom, who's your choice for the Lady Byng Memorial Trophy?
Sort of a rough one for me. I got 2 guys on my mind, but it all depends on what one does and how far his team goes. That one guy on my mind is Nathan MacKinnon. I have him pegged for another award later on in the show, but let's just say, you know, if the Avs win the cup and say he wins the Conn Smythe, I could see them not giving him this trophy for that reason. Just say, okay, he's got enough. Let's give it to somebody else. Alexander Barkov's another one that if Florida has a good year, you might want to give it to him. It's really tough, though, between those two. It really depends on how far the Avalanche go and what they do. The Avalanche don't win the cup. I could see MacKinnon getting it just as like a, sorry, you didn't win again, so here you go.
Well, you already said one of my choices, and that was Alexander Barkov. I mean, Sasha Barkov just plays a safe brand of hockey, and he just seems like a safe choice in general. He's such a good player. He was once thought to be, you know, one of the more underrated players in the league. That's no more. I mean, he's a fantastic center on a great Florida team this year. This could be, and I said it in the Florida preview as well, this could be the best iteration of the Florida Panthers that we have seen in quite some time. Maybe the best on paper iteration of the Florida Panthers that we have seen in franchise history. So it's just going to be really, really exciting to watch the Florida Panthers this year, as well as Alexander Barkov. Next, moving on to the Frank J. Selk Trophy. The Frank J. Selk Trophy is an annual award given to the forward who best excels in the defensive aspect of the game. So we're looking for a two-way forward here who excels at both ends of the ice. Tom, who's the Selk Trophy winner this year?
Well, last year I went way off I didn't really go way off the board, but I went a little off the board with Anthony Cirelli. I'm not going to do that this year. I'm going to go with a safe yet obvious choice. I'm going to go with Patrice Bergeron yet again. I know it's terrible, but I have the Bruins pegged to have a good year, but I think they're only going to go as far as Patrice Bergeron does with them. And remember, he's also in a contract year this year. Keep that in mind.
Can we just rename this trophy the Bergeron Memorial Trophy at this point? Because for God's sake, he's won the trophy so many damn times. Between guys like him, Pavel Datsyuk, you know, Ryan O'Reilly in coming years as well, you know, it feels like the same cast of characters that win it every single year, and it's so frustrating to see. But that being said, this is one of my bold choices this year, and it's bold, especially because it's kind of a homer pick. I mean, I'm wearing the jersey, so let's go with a homer here. I'm going to say Nico Hischier. Hischier has proved himself so far to be a very good two-way center. And this could very well be the year that the rest of the league recognizes this. And honestly, if it's not him, I do have another guy in mind. It was a guy I chose last year, but then he missed a significant chunk of time. And that was Sean Couturier, who I just have in such high regard as a two-way center in this league. I think he is very, very good on the defensive side and on the offensive side of the game as well. And if Philly ends up doing really well this year, it'll certainly be because of his defensive game as well. So he could very well be in line for that trophy too. Next, we're moving on to the Vezina Trophy. The Vezina Trophy is an annual award given to the goalkeeper adjudged to be the best at this position as voted by the general managers of all NHL clubs. So we're looking for the best goaltender in the league voted by the NHL. So, Tom, who is your Vezina Trophy winner this year?
I'm going to go a little bold, but a little obvious. I know it's hard to say that at the same time. But I think we're going to have a consecutive award winner here. I'm going with Flower. I'm going with Marc-Andre Fleury. He's the number one man in Chicago. I'm expecting Chicago to turn it around. But Chicago's only going to go as far as he can take them. Another caveat to think about is this. We know that Carey Price has entered into the as will not be playing. I forgot. I don't think it's a substance abuse program. I don't remember what it is. And I don't want to be wrong on here. So I'll just say we know that Carey Price is not playing right now. Could it very well be Flower starting for Team Canada in the Olympics? Could it be?
Crazier things have happened. But also, just side note also, because we didn't mention it in our NHL news, our deepest thoughts go out to Carey Price and his family during this time. And as Carey Price said it best, sometimes it's okay to say that you're not okay. And in this case, it is very okay to admit when you're not okay. And Carey Price, we wish you the best in your recovery, and we're proud that you were able to say that you needed this help, because there are those that don't, and they're worse off for wear. So good luck in your recovery. Get well soon. There's some things that are more important than hockey in this situation. But as for my Vezina Trophy winner this year, first of all, bold prediction there by Tom. And if Marc-Andre Fleury wins it again this year, dude would age like fine wine. Like, he had never been nominated for a Vezina before then, and then to win it 2 years in a row in the twilight of his career, dude, that'd be crazy. For me, I went bold last year, and I said Carter Hart, and we all know how that ended. So I'm going to go a safe choice here, because I feel, you know what? I don't want to be wrong. I don't want to be near wrong this year. And who knows? Maybe I'm just a bad luck charm for goaltenders. Who knows? So I'm going to go with somebody potentially safer and say, from the Winnipeg Jets, Connor Hellebuck. And I say he's going to, do well just simply because Winnipeg is a pretty good team this year. And I think that could help translate to a Vezina win with that defense in front of him this year. Connor Hellebuck, I think, is just a safe choice here. Next, moving on to the James Norris Memorial Trophy. As annual award, I can't speak English. An annual award given to the defenseman who demonstrates throughout the season the greatest all-around ability in the position. Oh my gosh, it's like I had a stroke for a second trying to read that. Good Lord. But anyway, we're looking for the best defenseman in the league. So, Tom, could we see a repeat in Adam Fox here?
We're not going to see a repeat. He's going to break Bobby Orr's records. He's going to win a bunch in a row. He's going to be the best defenseman ever. He's going to be better than Bobby Orr, Brian Leetch, Doug Harvey, and Eddie Shore combined.
Bobby Orr, eat your heart out.
No, you know what? Fox would need to have a better year and maybe even need to have himself a hell of a playoffs with the Rangers if they make it to win this trophy again. So I'm going to play it safe here. Diehard Ranger fan, I know. But I got to go with a guy out in the mountains there in Cale Makar. I'm going with Cale Makar this year.
Not a bad choice. And that's actually somebody that I kind of thought of just because, he's a guy that's kind of been sniffing there for a little while. Maybe this is the year he does it. But again, I was punished last year for my bold prediction and saying Thomas Chabot. And I have learned, you know what? Maybe don't pick a defenseman from a not so good team. So that's why I'm not necessarily going to pick Dougie Hamilton this year, even though I do think the Devils can make the playoffs this year. If the Devils do make the playoffs, it could very well be because of Dougie Hamilton, which could also translate in a Norris win. But I'm going to go safer than that. I'm going to say John Carlson from the Washington Capitals. Why? Because points. John Carlson scores points. The other honorable mention that would have been a bold pick for me this year was Shea Theodore of the Vegas Golden Knights. He's an honorable mention because I honestly think he's going to get more than 50 points this year. I think he could have a 60-point season this year. He is magnificent with the puck. He is a great power play quarterback. I just think that, maybe Shea Theodore's time has come to potentially win a Norris Trophy, and certainly if Vegas makes it far in the playoffs, as I think they could, Shea Theodore could be considered for sure. Next, we're talking the Maurice Richard Trophy, an annual award given to the NHL's top goal scorer by the NHL Board of Governors. The winners are determined based on regular season play. And notice how I said winners, because we have had ties before. So in this case, we're looking for the top goal scorer in the league. Tom, who's your choice for the Richard Trophy this year?
I'm going to be boring with this one. I think we're going to have another repeat this year. I'm going with Austin Matthews. I just really like how Austin Matthews plays the game. So
yeah,
I got to go with him. I loved how he played last year. He keeps getting better year by year. I'm hoping he'll have a big Olympics this year for the U.S. So I'm using my American pride, I guess you could say, in Austin Matthews.
That's certainly a safe choice. And I definitely considered Austin Matthews for sure from Toronto. All right, I'm going to go a little bold here, like semi-bold, like quasi-bold. David Pastrnak of the Boston Bruins. Because if he plays a full season, I could see him challenging for the most goals this season. He's a guy that has, sniffed around the 40-goal mark. I think he could honestly crack 50 this year. I honestly do think that is possible. In an 82-game season, if David Pastrnak stays healthy, he could easily score 50 this year. That is a very potent Boston lineup, and you've got him on the perfection line. Dude, enough said. I think Pastrnak could very well be the Rocket Richard Trophy winner this year. Next, we're talking about the Art Ross Trophy. The Art Ross Trophy is an annual award given to the player who leads the National Hockey League in scoring points at the end of the regular season. So the top point getter in the league. Tom, what's your choice and why is it Connor McDavid?
Nah, he's not my choice. I'm going off the board. I'm picking Vitaly Kravtsov for the Art Ross Trophy.
Oh, okay. All right, troll.
No, it's McDavid. It's McDavid. It is. But I don't think he's going to run away with it. I think that him and McKinnon and his teammate Draisaitl, they'll be jawing at it. They'll be jawing at it throughout the year. You may even see Austin Matthews up there too. But I do think McDavid walks away with it again.
Certainly a safe choice. I'm going to get the easy one out of the way. I'm going to agree. I'm going to say it's Connor McDavid of the Edmonton Oilers. I see no reason why he can't get the Art Ross again this year. Another person that Tom didn't mention that could also challenge for it was a guy who actually won the Art Ross a few years ago, and that's Nikita Kucherov of the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Yes. You want to know what? I was going to bring him up actually as my Rocket Richard winner just to really piss everybody off. But I just, much I like Kucherov, I don't know. I see a bigger season from Matthews.
As Kucherov would say, are you kidding me?
He just got introduced. I have the game on silent on my phone right now. He just got introduced.
Yeah, exactly. But for me, Connor McDavid, I see no reason why he can't get the Art Ross again this year. Minus falling down a flight of stairs. Yes, I'm going to keep yeeting these players down a flight of stairs. It's just my new thing. I'm just going to keep throwing them down the damn stairs. Deal with it. It's my new thing. Next, we're talking the Hart Memorial Trophy. Everybody should know this trophy quite well. The Hart Memorial Trophy is an annual award given to the player judged to be the most valuable to his team. The winner is selected in a poll of the Professional Hockey Writers Association in all NHL cities at the end of the regular season. This is the league MVP. So, Tom, who's the MVP winner this year?
I got to go with the safe choice of Nathan McKinnon. Unless Toronto or Edmonton have a monster season and have a monster playoffs and proves to everybody that they're not the chokers they are, I got to go with McKinnon right now. I do. Unless somehow those teams have monster years and better years than Colorado.
Yeah. I'm going to agree, and I'm going to say Nathan McKinnon just simply because he could have a very good year this year with the Colorado Avalanche, and it could even translate in an appearance in the Stanley Cup final this year. It could very, very well happen for Nathan McKinnon this year. The reason why I'm going safe here, I was punished for being bold last year. I said Jack Eichel, and we all know damn well how that ended and how it's ending right now. More on that maybe next week. But
Most definitely.
Yeah, just rough in general on that pick. Nathan McKinnon is certainly a safe choice here, unless we get a Taylor Hall type of situation from 2018 with the New Jersey Devils, where you have a player that literally drags their team into the playoffs this year, like on their back. Nathan McKinnon could be a very, very safe choice here. I mean, another popular choice in this place is Connor McDavid, and he won it this past year, and for rightful reason. But I think
Don't
Connor
forget about
McDavid,
Artemi Panarin either. He could very well get it.
Artemi Panarin is another favorite for this choice as well, and especially based on the year he had. It was also kind of tough to leave Artemi Panarin off of any of these trophy choices, but he is a player that could very well have a very, very good year, and actually something that I'm going to address in my bold predictions as well. But next, we're going to be talking about our division winners, and if you caught our summer and fall previews, if you caught our NHL team previews, you should know who our choices were from this offseason. So, Tom, let's start with you. Who wins each division? Who wins the Pacific, the Central, the Atlantic, the Metropolitan?
Okay, well, Pacific, pretty obvious, Vegas Golden Knights. Central, pretty obvious, Colorado Avalanche. Atlantic, not pretty obvious. I went with the Boston Bruins. And the Metro, as much as it pains me to say it, right now all signs are pointing to the New York Islanders.
Yep. And based on my predictions, the Pacific Division, I've got pegged for the Vegas Golden Knights. The Central Division, I have the Colorado Avalanche. So, well, we're going tit for tat here. Next, in the Atlantic, I went bold. I said the Florida Panthers. I just think that highly of their lineup this year. I think they're fantastic. And lastly, in the Metropolitan, I said the Carolina Hurricane. That's a potent offense. And sometimes your best defense is a really good offense. And I think it doesn't change here. Last, we are talking about our Stanley Cup winner, who hoists the Stanley Cup at the end of this NHL season. So we're really going bold here. Tough to project here. But Tom, who is our Stanley Cup winner at year's end, at season's end?
I'm going with the Colorado Avalanche. I think McKinnon and McCarr have a big year. And I just think that last year, after the loss to Vegas, I think they finally... You always need that one learning experience. Remember the Detroit Red Wings in the 90s had it with Colorado, when they lost in 6. I think that they finally get over the hump this year, and the Cup goes to Colorado for the first time in 21 years. At the end of the year, it'll be 21 years.
It's a good, safe choice, and honestly, Colorado is certainly a popular choice amongst the league right now. I'm going to go with the choice that I had last year, and it's probably bold, and which also means it's probably not going to come true. So I'm sorry if I'm jinxing this fan base, but I'm going to save the Vegas Golden Knights. And I just think that this is finally the year they do it. I just honestly think that this is after the past few years of getting so close, yet so far. I think this is finally the year they put it together. That offense looks great. They could still make a few deals out there to reshape this lineup as well, to gear up for a deep playoff run. Names like Riley Smith and Jonathan Marchessault have been floated in trade talks over the summertime. Maybe that's something that comes to fruition around the trade deadline to try to retool and really strap up for a major run in the Stanley Cup playoffs this year. But we're just going to have to see. It could happen. That's all I could say with the Vegas Golden Knights. It could happen. Before we depart you guys today, it's time for our question of the day, which the question of the day is different as the past number of weeks because we've been wondering, where does each team finish in the division? In this case, different question that we would love you guys to chime in down below. And we're talking our big, boldest predictions. So, Tom, what are some of your boldest predictions of the upcoming NHL season?
Well, you brought up the Vegas Golden Knights in your Cup prediction. My bold prediction is I'm not sure the Vegas Golden Knights even get out of the second round. If the Vegas Golden Knights see the Minnesota Wild again, I think the Vegas Golden Knights are going home early. My favorite team, the Rangers, they do make the playoffs. They even win a round, I think. See what else? I think Vitaly Kravtsov doesn't get traded. I think he is playing for the Rangers by the end of the year. I think that he just gets this out of his head and is back up within a couple of weeks. The Toronto Maple Leafs finally win a playoff series. They finally win a playoff series. And maybe they win another one. But I don't know about another one after that. Another one here is the Chicago Blackhawks make the playoffs, and maybe they even win a round or two. And my last one, An era finally comes to an end in Anaheim. Ryan Getzlaf is traded to the Boston Bruins at the trade deadline.
Some pretty interesting bold predictions there. So, for me, let's get bold, shall we? Some of these might range from potentially true to potentially comedic. So, let's get the first one off the list just simply because I called it in our final team preview. The Devils make the playoffs this year. I think they take that 4th spot in the Metropolitan Division. Meanwhile, so that way I don't look like a total homer, I think Kaapo Kakko of the New York Rangers finally realizes his potential and scores at least 30 goals this year.
Wow.
I think Kaapo Kakko can do it this year. I do think highly in what he can do. If he's given consistent top 6 minutes, there's no reason why he can't possibly amass those numbers. I think he can do it this year. I honestly do. Evander Kane, not currently of the San Jose Sharks. I'm going to say he will not play a single NHL game this season. I think he's just so marred in controversy right now that I just don't see him playing at all. Brady Tkachuk and Matt Tkachuk, the brothers Tkachuk, as you will, are both dealt to the same team, but not with their current teams. So a mystery team is going to swoop in and get both of them. All right, that one's probably comedic, but I would laugh if that's true. That would be amazing if I just called that one. Next, Team USA is going to place at the Olympics this year, and they're going to place at least bronze. That is a bold prediction. Maybe a pipe dream, but, hey, stranger things have happened.
Well, I don't know about a pipe dream. I think they're better than a lot of other teams out there than you give them credit for.
Yeah, that's true. But at the same time, I still think there are a few teams that are a little bit better than them at the moment. I think Canada is better than them. Russia is better than them right now. Sweden might actually be a little bit better. And Finland also might give them a run for their money as well this year. Next, Carter Hart of the Philadelphia Flyers. I say he rebounds after a miserable sophomore year. And he is actually going to be one of the reasons why Philly actually makes it back to the playoffs this year. Toronto. Sorry, Toronto fans, they're going to get knocked out in the first round again of the playoffs this year. And just going to be wondering why did we give $33 million to just 3 players? Why the hell did we do that? Next, sorry, Buffalo fans, Jack Eichel won't be dealt until after Thanksgiving because Pagulas. And the last one that I've got is a little bit more bold. I'm going to say that there's going to be at least 4 or 5 players. No, I'm going to say there's over 5 players that get over 100 points this year. I'm going to say over 5 players this year. I'm going to say Connor McDavid's one of them. I'm going to say Leon Draisaitl is almost a lock as well. Nikita Kucherov, I'm going to say is a player that could. David Pastrnak is another one of mine that I'm thinking. And then another one that I was thinking was Jonathan Huberdeau of the Florida Panthers. I think he's a player that flies very much under the radar on an otherwise good Florida team and just flies under the radar in general in the NHL. And I just think he is a player that can amass. And then the last player, if it's over 5 players, Artemi Panarin of the New York Rangers, I think is a person that can absolutely get over 100 points this year. Look at his production from this past year in a shortened season for him. And he was on pace. He was certainly on pace to do it. So why not? But hey, as per usual, guys, make sure you sound off on your bold predictions down below. And what do you guys think of our bold predictions? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Make sure that you let us know down below. Drop a comment. And while you're there, make sure you like and subscribe for all of our NHL content that we've got coming up. Next week, we're going to hit you with 2 videos as we're going to talk about our usual daily news and notes, probably either on Monday or Tuesday of next week. And then to wrap up the week next week, we are going to be giving you guys my New Jersey Devils news roundup, as well as Tom's New York Rangers news roundup, as well in a new episode segment that we're going to be trying this year just to see what happens. But hey, you got to tune in. You got to make sure you subscribe so that way you know when that is going to go down. But you can also check out our content down below at i80sports.com. Not only can you find our NHL content there, but you can also find our NFL, NCAA football, MLS, and NBA coverage there as well. You don't want to miss out. And make sure you drop them some love. Hit up the shop while you're there. Get yourself a t-shirt as low as $8. And if you're not following already on Twitter, make sure you follow us down below at i80_sportsNHL. And if you're following already, thank you guys so much because we greatly value your support. Without you guys, we can't do this on a weekly basis. But it's time to drop the puck in the NHL. The regular season starts tonight as of right now. Enjoy. Merry Christmas in that regard. But I'm Brian. He's been Tom. This has been another episode of NHL on I-80 Sports.